Yeah, he's got to learn how to use his core. That produces a safer horse. If they never use their core, they develop a strong front end and bucking muscles.
We don't want any of those to be strong.
And that's why it's a danger to spend time yeah, and notice he lengthened his neck properly when you did that. Yeah, and remember, you can actually be absolutely in rhythm. You're almost thinking, if I were to be in one spot, could I be exactly with him to develop piaffe? That's how you're thinking. Remember, the piaffe is also a diagonal step. Don't forget that. So when he's doing brief half-trot steps, you should also be thinking the development of the piaffe. Okay?
Meaning I better stay centered instead of flopping around.
Well,
Pretty
that's
much.
how you want to put it.
Pretty much.
Pretty much all the time.
Good flopping around.
I love how she describes this.
Yeah, Becky. Yeah. Very nice. Did you ask me a question?
I was talking to the horse.
Oh.
You're my core, get off the rails.
Very pretty. Yeah. Very pretty. Yes. And every turn is a give of the rein. After every turn, after every indication to him, his position for the turn, then you give your elbow. And giving doesn't mean drop. It means you still feel where he is, but he doesn't feel against you or pulling. You can feel his mouth. You can feel both sides of his neck. That's called contact. But if you make heavy, then you're starting to carry him and he can't, he'll never use his core ever. If you have like even a couple pounds in your hand, some people say 10 pounds in each hand, but even if you have 2 pounds, you are now telling him you will carry him. And he no longer has to use his core. And then you're developing the naughty muscles. Because when you carry the horse yourself, it's the same as arm wrestling. They have to make a counter resistance. So now they're going to use the bottom neck muscle for that counter resistance. Now they may be on the bit and look beautiful, but they're still developing the lower neck muscle. That's why if you see dressage today, upper level horses, you'll see a muscle bulging.
Yeah.
That's the low neck muscle. That's the bucking muscle. So, and then in the next week you read that the horse is no longer being shown or something, you know. That's why. The rider spent years developing the bucking muscles by carrying the horse with heavy on the bit ideas. Putting the horse together, forming the frame. See? Making the frame themselves. No, the horse forms himself from the core. You have to show him how to use his core. That's a safer horse. That's a horse that can, if he's using his core, he cannot buck. He cannot buck. I'd much rather ride a horse that forms himself and me guiding him than a horse that I'm carrying him and developing the naughty muscles. Dressage people are known for riding spooky horses.
Yeah.
It's not because the horse is spooky, it's because the horse has developed the naughty muscles. can also, when you go to the walk, since he's got a different idea of how to walk, you know, you can actually think piaffe at that moment too. Okay?
I'm just trying to think leg heel over, but it's pretty hollow. I felt like the rhythm was a little better.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And you can do, now if you change direction, you can do the same thing, and then we'll start the canter trot, canter trot. I think the canter trot's good for him because it gets him using his core. And remember, we're still in the warm-up process, so that's right. Yeah. That's a good boy. Now I'm going to sneeze from the spray. I'm going to sneeze, don't let me.
Bless
Let me
you.
scare your horse.
It's Echo Vet. It's a new one.
Well, it's echoing all right.
Well, it must have went that way.
Yeah, it killed all my bugs.
You don't have any bugs flying around by you, huh?
No.
It worked, except for
I
you.
still feel
They're all sneezing over here. The
they all
Here,
came over
here.
here. I know, but I don't want to spray it again.
Good, Becky.
Look at how nice he's going.
Yeah,
Let him stretch now.
it's not even holding them
And when he
together.
starts to go down a little bit, then you can add
Beautiful.
tempo. Let him go down first a little. There, now add tempo. That's just enough right there. Good. 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 So you, yeah. Super. And find a nice place to change out of the circle to a new direction, new circle, without letting him lose his balance. And if he does, you can guide him back to balance. He lost his balance because the circle turns too shallow. I would have gone a little bit out to the wall. You want this tempo for a change of direction, all through the change, all through the change. Now, in this direction, we will prepare for a change of direction, and a canter can be changed out of the circle, or it can be a half circle. So now canter. Good, excellent. Very nice. Good. Super. Yes. He puts his outside hind down nicely.
Yeah,
Doesn't
what
spin.
a nice,
Yeah.
easy canter.
Yeah, nice. And then when he trots from the canter, make volty-like, okay? But not too tight the volty. Make it a big 10-meter volty or 12-meter.
At that time, I didn't know he was gonna do it. I didn't feel anything happening, and all of a sudden he was gonna trot on me.
When he goes from trot to walk, ride the transition like a piaffe.
What do I do in the canter? Why didn't I feel that he was gonna trot on me?
What did you? Why?
Yeah, I can't feel that when he's just gonna
Oh,
trot.
you can't feel when he trots.
When he's gonna trot.
When he's
Because I
gonna-
still wanted the canter and also he's trotting.
I'll tell you how to feel it. What'll happen is, as the canter is kept going, what'll happen is, the initial canter has good, watch me, a good like this, a good reach with the inner leg, the lead leg, okay? What happens over time after the second circle is that reach gets more shallow. When the reach gets more shallow, they will start looking for the trot.
So he wasn't as,
Now the initial canter's like this.
more suspended.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the longer you make a horse canter that is used to making the range of motion more shallow as the canter proceeds,
Yeah, okay.
then they will start looking for the trot.
I should have already been doing my slow.
So what I do with a horse like that is I do frequent transitions, much like I did with Toby's horse to develop his balance from walk to trot. So that he learns that the range of motion is what we're after,
Oh, yeah.
not that we want it to deteriorate.
Right.
So if I told Toby's horse that you must stay like this until you deteriorate, then I have to release him at the moment that he deteriorates, much like the canter breaking to the trot. The range of motion is now starting to change at the canter. Then I accidentally reward him for the shortened range of motion and the lack of core.
Hence why I never advanced.
I didn't hear you.
I said, hence why I never advanced.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's about timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The release of the aid.
You have to know everything.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's timing. But when you start feeling the timing, but really, what happens too, what I'm going to say is very important. What happens too is when the horse's range of motion starts to change and shorten, the rider starts to relax the weight aid and shift it, because you subconsciously don't know what's happening,
Okay.
but your body will say, this is different.
Oh, okay.
See? What does the horse do when he suddenly walks? What does the rider do when the horse suddenly walks? They sit down. Are they supposed to?
No,
Why?
because you have to ride through that bobble and get him back in your.
Because you're rewarding him.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a reward.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You're telling him that his falling out of balance to the walk, or just quitting, let's say. Let's just say quitting, and I'm going to walk now. You're accidentally, that's a release. Your posting is an aid. So you released your aid. So that's why I say when he goes from trot to walk and he does a little this,
Yeah.
I say make feeling of piaffe steps. Keep the activity. And then the minute you feel one little half trot, release him and say, yes.
Okay.
Because that's the moment he had to use his core to get to the walk.